What's going on, everyone? It's Super here and welcome to another Injustice 2 video. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some more characters that I got my hands on in the Injustice 2 event that happened last Thursday. Now the only ones that I got some extra footage for were Green Arrow and Harley Quinn, just because I knew that I got Green Arrow really popular, at least, you know, the vocal people, because I got a lot of tweets asking me to get some Green Arrow gameplay and see how he feels and stuff like that. So decided to try him out. I did get to play with Dr. Fate, Scarecrow, Aquaman, and a bunch of other characters when I wasn't recording, so I'll talk about those because, you know, all these are pretty much just going to be short and sweet because a lot of them are legacy characters, excluding, you know, Dr. Fate and Scarecrow. So here we go. Let's start off with Green Arrow here because this is the gameplay that you guys are seeing. So Green Arrow is exactly the same. The only difference now, well, I guess he actually has two like main different things that he got that are new. So number one is his spinning bow attack meter burned now actually launches the opponent. So before, I didn't really play Green Arrow, to be honest with you guys, but I know one of the complaints for Green Arrow is he didn't have a way to combo off of or, you know, extend combos with anything other than freezing the opponent with the freeze arrow. So now that situation is remedied because he has the spinning bow, which you guys are going to see me demonstrate some around here. You know, it launches the opponent, you recover quickly, you could easily get a back three. Obviously, this was the first time I'm playing him, so I mistimed it a bunch, but once you get the timing down right, you're easily going to be able to get a back three, and you get some decent damage from it. You know, 1-1-1 is a really good string, easy to hit confirm. 1-1 is like -5, something like that. So it's definitely very useful to have a launcher now where you don't actually have to use your, you know, any of your arrows to actually freeze your opponent or do anything like that. You just launch your opponent that way. You don't have to use a meter burn back three in a combo and use 2 bars just to get a combo with Green Arrow, even though you still can do that to get around 50, which is what I got in one of the combos, which is pretty good damage for 2 bars. But his arrows work the same. You could jump up and shoot them, you could shoot them diagonally, you could walk backwards with it, you could shoot it low. He has the electricity arrow and he has the freeze arrow, which you guys see me use right here. And the other cool new thing is the boxing glove arrow. Now, I was afraid that this was going to be a gear related move, but I'm happy to say that it's part of his regular move set, and it's actually his meter burned arrow charge or arrow call. So when you press the circle button or the trade button, you can load up an arrow to shoot, and then if you press down back, you get the ice arrow, you know, charged up. And the way the boxing glove arrow works is you have to hold the trade button and then press the meter burn button so you could get the arrow loaded up. So if you let go of the trade button afterwards, you'll shoot the arrow immediately. And the cool thing about the boxing glove arrows, it's sort of like an explosive arrow, so it has like juggle properties in the corner. Mid-screen, it's actually going to knock back your opponent. So you're going to be able to load up another arrow, try to zone your opponent if you want. But in the corner, you can definitely get some juggles with that boxing glove. It's pretty fast once you load it up. But of course, you know, it takes loading up an arrow first and then another animation. So like the startup takes a while, but the recovery is really fast. So that is Green Arrow in a nutshell right there. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun learning this character because, like I mentioned, I didn't really play him in the first Injustice game, you know, whenever I got it on PS4 last year. I never tried him out, but I like playing Ancestral Kung Jin, so it definitely gave me vibes of that because Ancestral Kung Jin's playstyle was, you know, inspired by Green Arrow's playstyle. So moving on to Harley Quinn. She is identical. She's like exactly the same as her Injustice 1 counterpart. The only difference is, thank God they gave her a new trait. The hyenas being able to hit high or hit low, and potentially having setups with it is definitely something that's going to be really useful. Definitely a lot better than the you know, random generator for her trait before, you now know exactly where you're going to get whenever you call the trait. I felt her jump was a little bit more floaty because my back 3 combos into jump 2s were a little bit weird to do when I first started playing her again. And now in the corner, before you were able to get forward 1-3 twice, which is like a little bounce that she does with her gun. She like hits you with her gun, then she bounces you a little bit. So you were able to do that twice, and then you were able to do 1-1-2 into 1-1 into command grab. Now you can't do that because the gravity's all screwed up if you do 2 of those, but you can cut it down to 1, and I believe it does the same amount of damage. It looked like she was doing like the same amount of damage for the combos that I was doing with her. The setups were still there. You could still do the you know, the, I think it's called temper tantrum, you know, the cartwheel thing, and you can still jump up, make it ambiguous, jump up if they quick get up, of course. If not, you have to delay your setup just a tiny bit, but it's still definitely going to work. So she's pretty much the same as her Injustice 1 self, so I'm going to be very familiar playing with her once I get used to like the different animations, and just it sort of felt like floaty jumps for different characters like Black Adam, stuff like that. But I just think it's, you know, a new engine, not really a new engine, but just the way Injustice 2 is, it definitely feels a lot different than the first Injustice game. So in the first Injustice, you felt like you were really heavy when you were jumping, like you would just land quickly, but you were slow as hell on the ground. And it feels like the opposite here. It feels like you're very fast on the ground, like moving back and forth, dashing and everything, just the walk speed. And then when you jump with some characters, you feel like you're floating up there forever. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of getting used to timing wise, but it's not going to be that bad. So moving on now to Dr. Fate. All right, so Dr. Fate, I didn't really play with him too much, but I am definitely a lot more excited to play with him on release day now than I was before, because he definitely has a lot more combo potential than I thought. He has a couple of strings that you actually don't even need to use meter to combo somebody. I think it was like 1-1-3 where it launches you up by itself, and you could get a forward 3, and you could get, you know, just multiple combo extensions, and plus like actually feeling Dr. Fate out and visually looking at him while you're controlling him and doing all his magical moves and not even touching the opponent. He feels awesome to just play, and I know you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with him. Like I mentioned, I didn't actually record too much gameplay for Dr. Fate because I didn't have time to record. I was just like playing him without recording. But yeah, I definitely am looking a lot more. I'm looking forward to playing a lot more than I was before, because just like Firestorm, which I'll make a separate video on, he could definitely go beast mode when he activates his trait, because his grab actually turns into a launcher. His glyph actually launches the opponent on meter burn. You know, it's just so many more options when you activate your trait with Dr. Fate, and he like goes beast mode. He's really cool. Lots of few characters that I want to talk about quickly, because these characters I actually did not play with almost at all, but I do, you know, like a couple things that I want to talk about. Number one being Scarecrow. Now, Scarecrow is definitely going to be a long to mid-range character, more mid-range character, because he has a lot of really good mids, and he has a lot of long-reaching normal moves that lead into combos, in which you could connect into your chain move, your spinning overhead chain move, which is an unbelievable move, because on hit it actually launches the opponent if you meter burn it, and on block you could actually move backwards, and it has so much pushback that it's almost impossible to punish him, even though it is supposed to be punishable on block. You can move backwards with the chain, so your opponent keeps getting pushed back while you're moving back yourself. It makes you even more safe than you normally would be, which is not safe at all. You would be, you know, punished. So I don't know if they're going to keep that the same way. If they do, it's fine, because I think once we get our hands in the game, I'm pretty sure that people are going to find ways to punish it one way or another, because like I mentioned, it does take a good amount of time to recover, but since it pushes you back so far, it's really hard to punish it with any sort of normals. So Scarecrow also cannot get zoned out. which is really cool because there's a lot of zoners in the game. There's a lot of really strong projectiles. And Scarecrow is one of the few characters that has a teleport. So it's down up. I really don't like that motion at all, but it's a really fast teleport and it recovers really fast as well. Definitely reminds me of Raiden's teleport from Displacer because it starts up really fast and it recovers really fast. So if you get the read on your opponent, maybe not Deadshot, because Deadshot looks like he recovers almost instantly from his projectiles, but if you get the right read on your opponent, let's just say Superman's heat vision, you're going to be able to punish him for a ton of damage, especially if you have your trait on. And that's another interesting thing about Scarecrow, because his trait, you actually activate it, and it takes a while for you to build up the full use of your trait, which is once your meter fills up, after you inflict enough fear toxin into your opponent or they get hit by enough fear toxin. So let me explain a little bit. Once you activate Scarecrow's trait, it starts off at 0. You activate it, you know, fumes of like fear toxin start coming out of Scarecrow. So anytime that you're close to him, that's you know, the damage that you inflict, even if it's like chip damage, it fills up the trait meter for Scarecrow. So whenever you actually hit them with you know, a specific move that involves fear toxin and you inflict more damage, it fills up even faster. And once it fills up to, you know, max power, then that's when you get like the real benefit of the trait, which is a insanely fast ground pound that lets you combo from anywhere on the screen, and it actually stops projectiles. So let's just say that Robin shoots out his you know, like trick shot Batarang, which goes backwards and then it tracks your opponent. If Robin shoots that and the Batarang is in the air, when I do my ground pound and hit Robin, it's actually going to go away. The Batarang is going to go away and it's not going to follow you anymore. So you could actually punish Robin on reaction if he even tries to shoot out that Batarang. So it's really fast. You could easily combo from it because, like I mentioned, Scarecrow has a ton of range on a lot of his moves. So he's definitely going to be another fun character for people like Space Control. I don't really go, you know, too far into him because he had a lot of strings, and, you know, I think that he's going to take a little bit of time, just like Robin and Poison Ivy. Last character that I want to talk about here real quick is Aquaman. Now, Aquaman, I'll be honest, I completely forgot that he was even in Injustice 2 when I was at the event. A lot of people wanted me to get Aquaman gameplay. I'm sorry. I actually did play with him right as the event was finishing, and don't worry, he's actually exactly the same as he was in the first Injustice game. The only difference is that you do not get a meterless launcher on your From the Deep or your scoop anymore. You actually have to spend a bar of meter to get a launcher with either one of those moves. His Triton Rush is still exactly the same. You can move forward or you can move backwards with it. If you meter burn it, it's gonna do a ridiculous amount of chip, but you gain no meter from it. So now you can't do a meter burn Triton Rush and get like 75% of that meter back. It actually doesn't get you any meter at all, but it still does the same amount of chip damage. But the balancing thing from Injustice is there's push blocking. So if someone actually spends a bar of meter to try to chip you out and you have your own bar of meter, you could push block that and it negates everything. It's back to neutral. So that's how, you know, that is countered now, and he doesn't build meter from doing that. And even if he does have a lot of meter, in order to get damage, just like every other character in the game, now he has to spend meter to juggle your opponent. So he's definitely nerfed, but he's gonna be solid as hell, man. He still has so much range with his Trident, and his back one is still ridiculous. It has so much range. So don't worry, all you Aquaman fans, be happy. You got nerfed a little bit. All you got to do now is spend the bar meter. Triton Rush is still the same, and Aquaman still has a ton of range. His trait is still the same, which enables you to sort of like get a water shield, and you slip away from combos when your opponent is comboing you. So it's a It's an easy way to get out of a freaking combo. It's a really good trait. So that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. What's going on, guys? It's Super here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys subscribe or check out any of these videos linked at the top. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.